Nobody panic. Nobody panic. Everything's fine.
What's happening?
The world is burning to the ground. Light it all on fire. Who cares? It's the weekend coming up for you. Got any? Yeah, I mean, it's the weekend already. Do you have any plans?
I have a party with all my like workplace mates. They've set up a like barbecue of some sorts, but I don't know where it is and when it is. They've given me the date.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, it's next week. Okay, cool.
Oh. Oh.
I'm gonna go out and party.
Are you?
Party,
I'm
party.
enjoying that this turned into just look at this idiot being an idiot on Twitter to let's look at his actual writing and see how bad he is at it.
Oh yeah, yeah. That was
It's evolved.
he asked us to look at it, so I was like, okay.
This is gonna be a Gabby Hanna Rachel Oates problem where you're gonna start getting harassed for reviewing the thing that he asked you to review. And he's gonna call you like a psycho narcissistic monster.
Oh my god. I'll take that. I'll take
Oh,
that.
okay. Alright. The good thing we're definitely not live and nobody heard you just admit to being a psycho narcissistic monster,
Oh no.
Manya. Oh no.
Oh no. Everything's exposed. Ah.
Oh no. Oh
Oh
no.
no.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no,
Oh
no.
Hello.
Welcome back to Don't Fekk Friday. Don't Fekk Friday. Don't Fekk Friday.
It's going to be fun.
I almost forgot to play that. It was real close. Hi everybody, welcome back to Don't Fekk Friday. I am Chesh. This is Maanyaa over here. It is Friday. For me, it is Saturday for her because time exists and the Earth's probably not flat. Today we're going to talk about John Richards, and this is going to get a little bit confusing because he was having a conversation with John Hamill. We like John Hamill. He's a cool guy. He's a lot of fun to hang out with. He's been on the channel before. We don't like John Richards because he's a racist asshole, and that's what I'm starting with, and you can't stop me. And a prick. In general. Yeah. So, Maanyaa, you kind of have gotten into it with this man on Twitter. Let's put it nicely.
Yeah. So he challenged me in a way.
Yeah, tell me a little bit about your interaction in general and like your sort of feelings on the matter. Because I think you mentioned that you met him.
Yes, I met him. He was here in New Zealand as part of the Skeptic Society. I don't know whether he was invited. I don't remember that much. Or he just came over. I don't know. When I met him, he was very polite and stuff. Yeah. But on Twitter, he's not nice. And I don't know which one's which. So, but basically, he said that he was trying to explain it to me, the economics and the pay grade of my own country.
You're being awfully generous because I watched that. He didn't try to explain anything to you. He just tried to tell you and infer that you didn't know anything. He hasn't tried to tell anybody anything. This entire thread, he has not. This thread has been going on for 3 days now. He has not given a single citation. Not a link, not a screenshot, nothing for 3 days.
It's fucking nothing.
It's fucking nothing. It's amazing. I have not watched. It's been like a good year and a half plus since I've watched somebody move goalposts and tip tap around to different shit every single time they're confronted with answering just a basic question. We're getting into like yes or no questions. We're getting into like, hey, $6,000 was taken from this person yearly and given to this person yearly. Where did that money go?
Oh, but the previous people though, the people before me did it. It was like it's all their fault, yada yada yada.
Yeah.
And the thing was that we were asking him questions because we were curious, like what was going on, how was AI working behind the scenes, and like why didn't they follow the bylaws and shit? And it just like evolved into like John Richards challenging me to compare his editor's notes with his predecessors. I was like, okay, challenge accepted. So I went for it. And I have a lot to say, but I will be nice. I'll try to be objective. I won't go personal. But let's see.
Godless scummer for 2. It's good to see you. When are you coming on? Said, here's a small fortune in India. That is where we get.
Oh my god.
That is absolutely where this goes. And so this is his Twitter. Let me show you guys real quick so you guys kind of have a better idea of what we're talking about. He's got no banner, or his banner is just gray for some reason. He's got a Kickstarter. He's from the UK. He's listed as the co-creator of Free Thought City and video podcaster. And then he's got a Kickstarter. And the Kickstarter is like asking for no, what, 100,000 and has $284.
Uh huh. What?
Sorry, I'm getting sick.
And what?
Excuse me.
Oh, Gobo.
Free Thought City Vision. Free Thought City is registered at the UK
Can
and
you blow it up?
incorporated the. Yeah, I make it bigger.
Sorry.
Whoa. Second generation social media site using state of the art software and hardware designed for a more civil online community.
What the
Last
fuck?
updated January 22nd.
Isn't that the same thing, the database that they were talking about? Is it what it is?
Free Thought City
Or
is
not?
registered in the UK and incorporated in the United States. Free Thought City is an ambitious attempt to provide something better than current social media platforms. It takes advantage
Oh,
of the
okay.
technological developments that have occurred since the launch of the first generation social media sites, which enable greater verisimilitude. Which he linked a fucking
verisimilitude.
Verisimilitude, the appearance of being true or real. which enable greater ability to appear true or real via high-speed connectivity and touchscreen mobile devices. He wants to make Facebook. He wants to make Free Thought Facebook.
Okay, if he has made that, who has he hired to do all the programming?
Primarily a visual, audio, and face-to-face experience. It's about your relationship. Stop encouraging people to have parasocial relationships on the internet.
Yeah, that's absolutely ridiculous.
Anyway, I thought
But
this
I'm
was
just
really
saying,
fucking funny.
yeah, but because he's asking for money, but he hasn't told us how he's going to deliver that product.
I
What's
mean,
the plan?
there's more stuff down here, but we're not gonna go through the whole fucking Kickstarter. The point is like, here's some free advertisement for you, asshole. I've done my due diligence to give you like some kind of. We are about to get a big old smackdown, so it's only fair if I actually like show that you actually
And
have
his name
shit
is
that people
John
can go look at.
Cena.
Da 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 da. Okay, John Richards. I am an ex-science teacher who can't like Kent Hovind is an ex-science teacher or an ex-math teacher. That kind of ex-teacher. Before COVID, I organized events and did live debates. I've done magazine editing, which we're going to get into, daily blogging, live streaming, video making / editing, and made contacts all over the world. I mean, I'm in Canada. John's across the ocean. John Hamill's across the ocean. Seamus is in the States. You're in New Zealand. So like that's around the world. That's people he's in contact with.
So maybe he's talking about us. Oh, okay.
That counts, right?
Hey, John.
That totally counts. Yeah, the Kickstarter is already expired, so whatever. Last logged in on June. Why is it still available? Because
whatever.
it's still linked. He hasn't updated his
Yeah.
Twitter.
Why is it still linked if it has expired?
I don't know. I,
Keep your stuff up to date, buddy.
I don't know. I'm kind of curious. Like, this is his YouTube, right? Because he said he's like a video producer or whatever. Notice he didn't list his involvement with Atheist Alliance International. Right?
Yeah.
He didn't
Yeah,
list
for some
that
reason.
as one of his
Hmm.
credentials. He he listed the work that he did that he stole
Hmm.
from that Indian guy, but he didn't list that
Hmm.
he was a director of the board.
Editor and like
Um,
what
yeah,
he did in that organization. Nothing about that.
Free Thought Channel.
What's in the description?
For the channel or for this video?
The video.
Larry, Ty, Sky, and I toss this idea around. Good people go to hell. And I don't know if that's a
Okay.
declarative statement about like they're saying good people go like you go to hell, or if they're saying that as like a more of a general. Like I don't know if they're like condemning people or if they're
Yeah.
just stating it as a
Yeah. And let talking about a topic that has been talked so much that it's like under the ground now. It's so useless.
my mom basically just responded with no you. But if, but like if this is what you're describing yourself as, like a video producer and podcaster.
Hmm.
And like it's just StreamYards. There's no
Yeah, that's
production
what it
here.
is.
This is just StreamYards.
Yeah. If he was doing any presentation, then I would. Yeah. It at the he's using Microsoft Teams, if I'm not wrong. That's what he's using.
Oh lord. Oh no. Oh no.
Oh
Oh
no.
no, 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 no. I mean, this is a cute little graphic
Yeah.
at the top. I'll give him that much. Free Thought
Yeah.
Productions is the channel of ex science teacher, host slash presenter John Richards and producer Swedish Steve. We welcome our new team member co host Teresa Do. I don't know how to pronounce your last name. We produce weekly shows Global Atheist News, Global Atheist News Review. That's not two
Okay.
different shows. Free Thought Hour and short an interview with an academic or escapee from a faith and short videos of a scientific or educational nature.
What the fuck? You could have just like put it in
Oh my
different
god, it's
categories.
the
Like,
same. This is the same channel. This is UK Atheism, one that's linked over. This is the same thing. Atheism UK
oh
is
my
founded in
goodness.
2000. It's like, join, support our activities. Please join Atheism UK for £12 to £24 per year.
Okay.
Our paid up members are our only source of income. Join here. Okay, let's look at. I want to see.
You're
I
gonna.
want to see the website.
Yeah. Let's see. Let's have a
We're
look.
going down the rabbit hole, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
I've seen the
Don't worry.
white.
We'll come back. We'll come
I've
back.
seen the white rabbit.
Go
Okay, so
for
this
it.
is like a meta website. You know, the like click and draggy ones like the Wix and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what it is. Yeah.
Come and join a vibrant atheist community working to ensure a free secular society for all. Atheists, who are they?
And in the thumbnail, it's who are we? Like, okay.
Who am I? Okay.
Who am I?
Okay, so this is just written by different people.
People. Yeah. Articles.
Is this what
Yeah.
he means by
Okay.
published author?
I don't know. He was
UK
bragging about 4 books.
Atheism UK is Britain's only distinctively atheist organization run by atheists for atheists. Atheism UK's main goal in the normalization of is the normalization of atheism. We focus on the advancement of atheism.
Atheism, atheism, atheism.
No,
Can you talk
wait.
about what comes under atheism? Like, fuck your
No.
life.
No, no, hold on. Atheism UK's main goal is the normalization of atheism. Okay, I've followed you. We focus on the advancement of atheism. What the fuck is the
Is
advancement of
that,
atheism?
are you talking about being encouraged in schools, or are you talking about encouraged in colleges? How are you going to advance the concept of atheism? I don't get it.
I and challenging the false and irrational beliefs of religious faith. Bold claim. Okay. Everyone
Uh-huh.
is like, okay, I don't. I'm gonna get on a whole other thing if I go down this road. Never mind. I'm not. No, I'm not doing it. I'm not. I
It's the
refuse.
thing is that
I'm not
I'll
going to go down the rabbit hole of
I'll just
fucking.
say one line.
Go, go.
Yeah, I understand. I
Save me
understand.
from myself.
So this is just like the most generic shit I've ever seen.
It really is.
Every
It
atheism
really is.
organization claims that. What different are you bringing to the table?
Oh, he's in the
It's
UK.
so
That's what's.
generic.
It's not. It's.
You're not explaining how, and that really irks me because you're asking for 12 to 24 pounds per year from people, and this is what you have. I don't know. This is, yeah.
Where's that money going? But on the other
Yeah,
hand, I mean, we don't know
can you
how many
scroll
members
up
they
and
have.
see if there are any projects? Can you
Yeah,
scroll up and see if they have any?
I'll check in 1 second. But there's a whole discussion you could have here about calling beliefs irrational and if that even makes sense because that's not the way
Yeah.
beliefs work, and like that's not the way your
Mm,
brain functions. So there's
yeah.
like a whole other thing. Believing in a religion doesn't inherently make you irrational. It just means that
Yeah.
odds are you've had an experience that somebody else doesn't that hasn't had, which is not irrational. It's not whatever. Okay, everyone is
Like,
born into
what
this
kind
world
of
without.
beliefs are you talking about? What kind of beliefs are you talking about? Are they religious beliefs, or are they scientific beliefs? What are you talking about here?
It's
That's what
okay.
I'm
He's
saying.
gonna
What? How?
in the next paragraph he just tells us that babies are atheists.
Next
Everyone.
we'll read rocks are atheists. Okay.
Yeah, right. Yep, yep. Everyone is born into this world without any religious beliefs until they are indoctrinated by parents, guardians, or the societies in which they live.
That's the norm everywhere, honey.
What do you mean
That's
in
how human society works as a species.
what do
What
you
the
mean
fuck?
in what do you mean indoctrinated? Because like indoctrination is like I know that it's used a lot in atheist rhetoric, but that's a
Yeah.
really bold like claim to
Claim
make about
that
just
children are being indoctrinated by their parents.
okay.
You have no fucking clue what the parents are doing with their kids.
What the fuck? Okay.
Way to throw parents
Uh
under the bus. Thanks.
Home blog about goal, normalization, objective principles, positions where we fit in, faith, morality. Oh no. Okay, privacy policy. Collect. Okay, so I would be cautious if you're looking at joining John
Yeah.
Richards thing, like his social media or donating to him. He's not known to give two shits about people's keeping people's information safe. And we know that
Yeah.
AAI, which he was a director of, he was on the board, lost people's information all the time and didn't tell them. So do not rely on
Yeah.
their security. And as we'll see when we get there, this dude just skirts responsibility for literally anything ever. So now I don't recall if Richards was on the board when that breach happened. I don't think he was. However, he was part of a larger problem of them not keeping proper
Yeah.
records of like it was like a snowball. So when I say the
Violating
issue,
bylaws,
right, when I say the issue
election
was
processes. Yeah.
when I say like the issue is compounding, he's part of that compounding problem at the base.
Yeah.
So when you get to things like losing everybody's information, although he might not have been on the board at the time, he set the board up for failure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, what else did you want to see? What projects they're doing? This
Yeah.
is
Where's the money
goals.
going? What are you using the money for?
Uh, He's got goals and then immediately objectives. That's kind of weird. Normalization of atheism, but it doesn't really say. It
That's
just
so generic bullshit. Like, what the fuck are you specifically going to work on, buddy? What?
At Atheism UK, we try to back up our claims, but statistics for the number
Oh
of
my goodness.
atheists, non-believers, and
Oh
religious adherents is changeable. We try. He tried.
God.
Okay, let's get out of here. I gotta get out of this.
Yeah, okay. Guys, if you don't know where your money is going, just think about it before you give someone your money.
There's
That's
very
all I'm
there's very little and not very clear details about whether or not that was a nonprofit, whether or not yada 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 yada.
saying.
Problems. Go watch the
Well, also,
AAI episode from last week. And if you want to follow more, go and follow the Free Thought Prophet. They're linked in that video. I'll probably link them for this one too. I don't think I did yet, but I'll do that.
yeah,
Okay. So
let go.
there's been like problems with this guy and he admitted to it at this point in this thread, right? But he had said
Yeah.
some problematic shit. Basically, 6K is too much to pay an Indian for editing and typesetting a journal. And that's per year, that's annually. And that Irish people can only communicate by fighting.
Fuck my life.
And it's really, really flippant. Right? It's really flippant.
It's stereotypical and flippant.
Do you want to bother
It's
playing the audio clip?
No, let's go for it. Let's
it's-
try it a little bit.
Okay. So go ahead with what you're saying.
I'm just saying it's so like full of stereotypes and it's flippant and it sounds condescending. You will hear it. It's condescending towards Indians, let's just say.
All right, okay, fingers crossed.
And it's having very
No, you can't hear it. Hold on. Oh
hear it.
God, you can hear it. I can hear
Yeah,
it.
I can hear it.
Is it going out?
Yeah.
Did it work?
I don't know. Ask the people. Guys, can you hear it? Test,
detrimental
checking,
effects.
checking.
So just to be upset about some undemocratic behavior, to me, I'm more concerned about the outcome and the.
Sorry, this is somebody else talking. I'm going to jump in.
But maybe that's because I live under laws that are we can't eat democracy. That's just me. It's my opinion.
£6,000 for an annual resident of India.
There we go.
A resident of India was being paid an annual salary of £6,000, a fortune in that country, to edit the secular
Fuck
World
you!
Journal.
£6,000 a year is a fortune in India, apparently.
Fuck you, John. Seriously. And when I tried telling him that's not gonna even cover the base, it's not even like half of it, he tried telling me that I'm wrong.
Yep.
And then I think so John Hamill came in and he put in receipts where he showed what's the average salary. He still wasn't relenting. He asked me, do you know how how exchange rates work? I'm like, bitch.
A resident of India was being paid an annual salary of £6,000, a fortune in that country, to edit the secular World Journal.
And like he repeats it, like he's very sure of this.
Yeah.
And we have a
Yeah.
great example of
Of course we
friendly
do.
coming together going on right now in Birmingham, which is hosting the Commonwealth Games. 72 teams from many different cultures.
And
Unfortunately, the residents of Ireland have been brought up knowing conflict for the last 100 years.
the residents of Ireland, so this is a different clip now. This didn't go into the next one. This is clipped to the next one.
Yeah, I get it.
The residents of Ireland have been brought up knowing conflict for the last 100 years. Oh, really? Why was that, Mr. British man?
Yeah.
Who are they
You fucking
conflicting? Who are they conflicting with, Mr. UK boy?
Mr. Englishman.
He's
whatever that
talking
is.
to two people from Ireland in this call.
Yeah. And I don't know if he really believes what he says, does he research what he says, or is it just like he's like, okay, I know these stereotypes, so I'm just going to modify, not even modify them, put in some sophisticated verbiage in there and make it sound like I'm very intelligent or something like that.
I think he believes that. I think he believes this because I think he's too lazy and ignorant to do any research, which makes him racist.
Yeah.
He's racist against Irish people, and he's racist against people from India.
And I'll demonstrate how he's lazy. I will do that later.
Salary of £6,000, a fortune in that country, to edit the Secular World Journal. And we have a great example of friendly coming together going on right now in Birmingham, which is hosting the Commonwealth Games. 72 teams from many different cultures. Unfortunately, the residents of Ireland have been brought up knowing conflict for the last 100 years. And so you guys might be excused from thinking that it's the normal method of discourse.
What the fuck?
I will tell you.
You guys must be excused from thinking that it's the normal method of discourse.
That conflict is the normal method of discourse because you're from Ireland, and people from Ireland have been brought up in conflict for the past 100 years. So basically, if you're Irish, you just don't know any better.
Yeah, you're just a bumbling idiot who's ready to fight. Like, I don't know where does he get this from?
Barry
does he cite any resources?
Barry says 100 years, try 800 years, imperialist swine.
Ooh, burn. That is a burn now.
There's gonna be like a couple, like, a decade from now, we're gonna get in trouble for being racist for calling him a colonist.
I fucking don't care. I fucking don't care. His mindset clearly demonstrates he has not evolved with the current geopolitical environment and opinions. He is stuck in the past. That's what it is.
Well, there's another problem here too, right? Like, you hear his tone and the way he's talking to people, but he's talking to people from Ireland. He
was talking to me from India.
It's so bizarre that you could so confidently be so just blatantly racist to somebody's face like that and be so fucking condescending. You're like, my God.
The thing is that when he talks, it feels like that he has written it down and he's reading it, right? That's how it sounds, isn't it? I don't know.
What you don't understand, Maanyaa, is that the economics in India, $6,000 a year in pounds is a fortune in that country.
17,000 pounds is an average salary. A good editor and publisher will cost you more than that, you stupid. What did I call him that day? You braggadocious dyspeptic nincompoop.
Oh, look, there's me going on. Who? Why? Who is it that the Irish have been fighting?
Can you blow it up a little bit more?
Tell
Chesh?
me who. Tell me who.
Tell Elmo.
Tell Elmo.
Tell Elmo.
And yeah, it's really passive. John Hamill makes a really good point here, saying that John Richards is very passive in his racism. So like what I'm getting passive at is like not only is his racism coming out in like the words he's saying, but it's also coming out in his tone, like his tonality. Like, he's so flippant, he's so condescending to the people that he's telling are so violent all the time. Like, do you want to get punched in the face? Because I feel like that's how you walk up to somebody and say, well, you know, your people are just inherently violent because of no fault of my own country. But
they're gonna say, okay, then I'll show you violent. That's what's going to be. It's also that it's flippant and it sounds like he's talking down on someone. Or talking down to someone. That's what it sounds like.
We listened to it, and this is what John Hamill had posted. He said 6K pounds per year is too much to pay an Indian for editing and typesetting in a journal, because 6K is a fortune in that country, allegedly. And then that Irish people can only communicate by fighting because, they've just been raised in conflict for some unknown reason.
John, have you traveled to India? Have you been to India? No? Then stop making claims about their economic statuses.
So this
or
was
making assumptions.
This was his response. He says, rolling on the floor laughing, which I'm curious to know if he actually knows what the acronym is for Raffle.
I don't think so.
Because I think he might be just using that to say, it means laughing a lot. And it's like, yeah, but it's actually like a short form. It's an acronym. And it is an acronym, technically, because it people say Raffle.
Yeah.
It's not a real word, but whatever. Semantics. You're such a laugh, John. 6K is too much to pay for a journal that doesn't get read as soon as we realized the size of the audience your board had been paying for. I did it for free.
That's later we will note that. I did it for free. So are you saying that an editor from India should work for you for free? Is that what you said?
Well,
and what about and he was generating physical copies, if I'm not wrong. What about the printing costs? So you don't want to pay someone for your time and effort. Where have I heard that before?
No.
Oh, friends don't pay friends.
Friends don't pay friends.
So
there's a bit going on here, right? As soon as I realized the size of your audience your board had been paying for. Now, we do need to note that John Richards was board director for a little while, by no means of his own accord, just because they rigged the election to get him on the board, because there's no way he would have gotten the job if the lines had been fair. Because when have British white people ever stacked the deck in their favor? But this was his response to this clip. And John Hamill was on the board before, legitimately so, and did a lot of work, including establishing this newspaper that he's bitching about now. So go on, Maanyaa.
No, Intrigue Feline sent me something very interesting. They said, some Irish history of the last 100 years, 1922, Anglo-Irish Treaty. In the 50s, IRA actions in Northern Ireland, which is UK, the troubles starting in the 60s till 1998. Since 98, has there been any actual fighting other than political? There's not so much fighting as you think there is, John.
Yeah, he's equating physical fighting with political disagreement and discourse and yada 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 yada. He's doing a lot.
Yeah,
he's
that's
doing a lot.
Yeah, it's broad statements which follow stereotypes and not any clarification. Yeah.
He's racist. So,
in short.
Then folks see how he twists words. I didn't say the Irish can only communicate by fighting. I said, given the history of conflict, it's unsurprising that it's a common reaction in his part of the world.
Common reaction? Do you know the word? What does the word common mean, John? And English is my second language. Do you know what? That it's a common reaction in his part of the world. In his part of the world.
What did he say? What did he actually say? What did we hear him say specifically? He said, in Britain right now, in the location, whatever location was he said Birmingham, there's a thing going on where there's like a sporting event or whatever, and a bunch of people from different places are coming over, and Irish people could be excused for having grown up in conflict for the last 100 years, that they don't know any better. God. That they think that that's the common way of discourse.
You said that. That's what you said. And he's just paraphrasing you.
he's just using semantics to try to say he didn't say what he said. Well, still doubling down, right? Because he's saying, well, I didn't say this racist thing. I said this other racist thing, but they're both the same thing.
Yeah.
It's unsurprising that it's a common reaction in Ireland, that because Ireland has a history of conflict. Who do they have conflict with again?
Oh, okay. So India had like 200 to 300 years of conflict with the British Empire, so we are also excused from the discourse because
I just want to
fighting is common.
If you run around and conquering people, what are you doing besides starting conflict with other people who don't have anything to do with you? So would that not, by his logic, make the UK the most violent people when it comes to discourse in the world?
Oh yeah,
currently,
and they are, and they were. So I can tell you stories about the British Empire in India. So yeah, we can sit down and chat about that one day.
So does that then follow that John is actually most likely to be the person who can't handle having a conversation and will throw himself into a violent tantrum, but it will be a violent tantrum of words because this is Twitter and he can't hit anybody here?
Exhibit A.
Exhibit A. Oh, it's almost like I had this set up. Oh. Oh no.
And the thing is that he's saying that someone's effort and time doesn't matter if they can't get readers.
Well, he's conflating publishing and typesetting with entertainment value of the author, right? It's not the publisher and editor's job, right? That's your marketing team. That's your author to make sure that they're writing about something that is prevalent. And the editor could have some say on that, depending on how what this guy's actual position was and how much control he actually had over what topics were covered and who if he had a set of journalists. But this is not a newspaper, so I imagine that it wasn't quite set up that way. But I don't know. I wasn't there.
Yeah. It's like if it was dependent on he's not valuing his time and effort that he put in. He's focusing 6,000 a year for 30-ish readers. Good job, John. And this was the guy who was thanking his predecessor in editor's note. The same guy he's throwing under the bus or saying that he didn't deserve 6,000 pounds a year.
And here Luke comes in. Shout out to Luke. Luke's great. Bearded Heretic says, this isn't what you said before. You explicitly said that 6,000 pounds is a fortune in India and that your justification for wanting to pay them less, no one is twisting your words except for you. Please take some ownership of what you say. You're not helping yourself.
Yeah, the thing about readers, again, semantics, shifting the goalposts. He pointed out the readers only after people asked him, what the fuck was that? That's when he started defending himself and saying, I was talking about 6,000 pounds per year for 30-ish readers. No, bitch, you didn't say that. You said it's a fortune in India.
Right. Said 6,000 pounds a year was a fortune in India. And we're being nice by putting that per year in there.
Yeah.
Because he just said 6,000. He didn't specify the amount of time, but we know the context that they were talking about per year, right?
Yeah.
Which John Hamill added to his condensing and his little paraphrase at the beginning. But it was double the average wage at the time. You'll notice something in particular here. The atheist community and the ACA, Atheist Alliance, online atheist types tend to be like, yo, cite sources. Yo, we're skeptical. That means you need to question everything all the time, and we just don't believe you based on your words. Doesn't cite a damn thing. It's a fortune in India. Yeah. It was double the average wage at the time. Citation needed.
Yeah, where's your citation, dude? But someone did come in with citation, didn't they?
Somebody did come in with citation needed. It's the old guard. It's the old board. Average salary in India for an editor is 1.7 million rupees, which is more than 7k pounds per year. Oh, look.
And that's the average.
A citation.
That's how it works, John. Not your assumptions.
Less than half of the low end.
Yeah. Not like not even 1/3.
It gets it. Crayon?
Yeah, I was just spamming this crayon thing.
It was another legacy of previous mismanagement. That's why special measures were needed. Why don't you continue to condemn yourself, John? So now he's saying there's special reasons, and he said this into this. I did it for free. It was another legacy. Like, this is unattached to anything. He just said this in response to this, which tells me he's already all over this thread. Like, he doesn't know who he's responding to or where he's responding at this point. It's all over the place.
Yeah. He can be excused for that.
No. Pay the fuck attention.
No. Damn it, Chesh, let my jokes land.
This guy.
Nah, I'm just fucking pulling him.
It was another legacy of previous mismanagement. That's why special measures were needed. Why don't you continue to condemn yourself, John? So he's saying it's John's fault that this guy is... He's saying it's John's fault that he's racist. Because he wouldn't be racist if he did... Because he wouldn't have had to make the decision if John didn't set things up the way he did. But John, if you recall, John Hamill was a member of the board overall.
Yeah.
Right? At a time where people were fucking elected. And John Richards was co-opted onto a board without a proper election.
Yeah, there was no democracy.
Yeah, and we'll see that becomes... That is a running thing. We'll see how this snowballs even further, because it only gets worse. Nobody even responded to this.
Yeah, they were like, what the fuck?
So, like, this is such a bizarre thread, because it just escalates and just keeps going.
Yeah. And, like, I spread out the crayons for him, literally, and explained it to him one crayon at a time, like, that what's going on. And he still didn't take any responsibility.
He still responded to this one again. That's why I supported the proposal to stop paying the editor. Honestly, John, you are really crashing and burning in your mission. The things you're responding to doesn't make any sense.
You know what this sounds like? I'm gonna accuse you first so you can't accuse me back. That's what it sounds like.
Oh, fucking got him, I guess. The report is not incorrect. Okay, so, like, I'm not buddy-buddy with Chris, but Chris makes really good points here. Like, according to the AAI disclosure statement, you were paid the 6K. Is the report inaccurate? And we talked about this report right after it dropped over on the AAI versus Free Thought Profit Debate Hub, if you want to check that out. And on Sunday, the Free Thought Profit are actually going through that entire disclosure document. Oh, so go and watch them on Sunday. I believe I'm going to be joining them, provided my face doesn't explode further by Sunday. I should be good to go, but I'm already trying to sneeze here. But I want to join them. I've said yes, and so I should be there. But okay,
this will be glorious.
John's response to Chris, which makes no fucking sense. Yeah, I'm not going to go into, like, the problems I have with Chris. Maybe we can cover that another time, but there's not really a point right now. So, no, Chris, the report is not incorrect. The previous board set up the contract and appointed an editor in India. He fell down on the job, and I was invited to do it on the same terms. Invited by yourself? You're the one on the board, dude.
What was that? I typed that a group of directors invited another director to do a job and get paid for it.
Listen, okay. Listen, God sent himself to save us from himself. John Richards appointed himself to save money by taking money.
Yeah.
We're taking the same amount of money. Like, he completely undermines his argument when he gets paid, when he pays himself the same amount of money. Right? So if his argument is that we were paying too much to get this thing done, so I did it for free, and then turns around and it turns out he was getting the money that he was trying to save by doing it himself. Bro.
And and then the next one is also very interesting. Their other follies included expenditure on an inappropriate, costly database and email system, and a hackable website that led visitors to porn sites. Citation needed. The organization was losing money faster than it was coming in. Desperate measures were needed to rescue it. I would ask for citation needed for all this. How do you know that a database is inappropriately is not required?
I mean, he knows because they leaked information. That's how they know.
Yeah. No, but John, do you know how data works and how data management works?
From my understanding, they actually, the way they leaked the information was actually via emails, not via hacking. So,
Yeah. So, like, do you know how important it is to protect information in today's time?
John's claim appears to be that the rest of the board hired him behind his back.
Oh god. And I think there's someone in the thread kind of adds a point to it. He's like, what was the process followed to deem that John is going to do it?
Oh yeah, we'll get there.
Right?
We'll get there.
Yeah.
This is this is 3 days worth of this guy just shoving his foot so far up his, so far down his mouth, it's up his ass. Okay. The report is not incorrect, meaning he got paid. So when he said he did it for free, right? We saw that. When he said, I did it for free, up here, right there.
That's wrong.
One tweet later. The report is not incorrect. So he was paid. So he's fucking lying.
God.
But the previous board set up the contract and appointed an editor in India. Okay, so the previous board set up a contract with this guy in India to do this work for this amount of money. The guy agreed, he did the work. He fell down on the job, implying he didn't do the job. He did, we checked. And I was invited I was invited by who? I don't know. To do it on the same terms. Meaning that your argument about saving money was nonsense because they still sent the money. And we'll see that for a product that was worse.
Yeah. So they were so the board and you yourself were ready to spend money on you for editing and publishing something.
Yeah, we'll try and call this John Richards, and the John we like, we'll just call him the John we like.
Yeah.
A year later we realized it was not we realized that it was not an effective use of funds, so I did it for free from then on. So he got paid for it once and then kept doing it.
Again, semantics. Semantics, shipping the goalpost, like, dude, you got paid.
Yeah, you got paid.
Don't deny it.
You got paid for 1 year to do it. Don't say you did it for free. And
so
undermine your
£6,000 per year, I guess.
There are other Foleys. So he's talking about the previous board. Their other Foleys included expenditure on an inappropriately costly database and email system. You mean the system that kept people's information safe, and when you stopped doing that, you leaked everybody's information, including people who were put in actual danger because they're in countries that will kill you if they find out you're an atheist?
Yeah. That's why I was asking. I was like, do you know, John, do you know how important it is to protect data online nowadays? Do you know how data is managed online nowadays? You have no fucking clue, and you're putting people's lives in danger, and you say that it's a fallible expenditure or not required expenditure.
There's also...
Let's see if your bank details and your emails get out. because your data management and your database is not protected. Let's see how you feel about it then.
There's also no there's no reference, there's no source to anything he's saying. He's just throwing this shit out here. This was entirely separate from my role as director.
Sorry if I make comment. Sorry, Chesh. And what he did in his previous tweet was he threw the editor under the bus. That's what he did.
Said he didn't do his job.
The previous editor, he just threw him under the bus. And note, that editor is not present on this thread to defend himself.
Yep. Believe it or not, I may be in contact with that editor.
Yes. That would be amazing to sit down and see like his perspective and find out how he found working for John Richards, the John we don't like.
John we don't like. Mm-hmm. This was entirely separate from, and I'll have to thank, like, he knows the person who got me in touch with this person knows. I thank you. This was entirely separate from my role as a director, which I and the other directors all performed free of charge. He's saying he didn't get paid to be a director. He's saying he got paid to do something separately, independently. Except, where's the contract?
Yeah. How were you awarded the contract?
Right. Where is any process whatsoever that this was decided? Why would you? Why? How is this not a Please tell Elmo how this is not a conflict of interest.
And also, like they said, as soon as we discovered the readership didn't warrant the expenditure, whose job it is to go out and market and distribute and distribute your publication? Whose job was it? Yours, wasn't it? Or someone else's? Did they do their job? It doesn't seem like it.
Oh, it gets better because he just completely misunderstands and doesn't like get what the point of the magazine was. The point was that it was physical copies. The magazine was physical copies that could go out and get spread around for people who didn't have internet access. And then dipshit over here, John the racist, decided that the number of clicks on their website trumped whatever that magazine could do in physical form, which he didn't even take into consideration.
What about the people who don't have internet access, John? And there are many countries that don't have sophisticated internet systems. Online systems.
By the way, here's the website. The last one of this website was in June 2021. Oops.
What's now? So, June. Sorry, not June. It's December 2022.
What?
Why did you stop, John? Why did you stop?
June 2021, February 2021, August 2020. So there was only 2 in 2021, February and June. Then November had, 2020 had November, August, February, May, and then, so they were supposed to be quarterly. They were supposed to be for a year.
Yeah.
And the last year there was only 2. The last year that it was done.
I think so. There's a Twitter thread also where he and I go back and forth about this whole shenanigan. Like when I ask him, how was he deemed qualified for this work, or how was he shortlisted for this work?
Yeah.
That's also another whole fucking,
So John We Like says, the entire history of AAI, no director ever paid themselves Atheist Alliance International money for doing secular work until John Richards. Right.
Wow. So he's setting a precedent here, or breaking the precedent.
Right. Come on, John. It was your board which set up the paid position for editor for Secular Words, shot in the foot.
Okay.
And so you asked, so that does not change the fact that you paid yourself, which was not the norm. The exception was for the editors, not the directors. You fired the previous editor, made yourself one, then paid yourself. Are you really this thick? I
was like, dude.
But then he said I had nothing to do with firing the previous editor. Did we not just a couple tweets ago hear him giving the explanation as to why that decision was made by the board that he was a part of, and we decided?
Oh God, he thinks we don't read. We can't. Does he think that anyone except Britishers can't comprehend English? Is that what he thinks?
Oh, no. I had nothing to do with the firing. Take a look at the SW page on the website, Secular World. He was failing to meet the terms of the contract, 4 editions a year, and the quality was low. No wonder the readership was small.
Bitch! We'll talk about that later.
So, just to be clear, what he's talking about, because he's not providing any links, he's using jargon terms like SW. If you don't know what he's talking about, you're gonna have a harder time finding it.
You'll never know. Yeah.
He's talking about Secular World, and if I go to the end of Secular World here, right, and I go and look to see what he has to say about this, we can check, right? So, there's the first one, there's the second one, there's the third one, right?
Yeah.
There's the fourth one, right? So there's good for that year. There's the first one. They're labeled quarter 1, right? Quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, and quarter 4.
Yeah. So quarter 3 and quarter 4 were combined. What's wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. And believe it or not, there are reasons as to why.
Yeah, like this is just semantics. And if you go ahead, I also asked him, like, did you give an opportunity to your editor to explain what was going on? Did you sit down and talk with him? Did you give him an opportunity to explain? Did you try and help him in any way before you decided to just yeet him off?
Instead of answering any of the things you brought up and the legitimate points you said, he says, the real question here is why John Hamill, the John we like,
of course,
his board decided to waste money paying an editor for a journal that hardly anyone viewed. They were a disgrace. Bro, you got paid to do it the same amount. So why is it wasting money? It's the only reason you've given for it being a waste of money is that the guy was Indian. You racist. And then
you
he also said
to do it for free.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Like saying that, a year later we decided that we should do it for free. That's because you were are not paid. That's why you did it for free then. I don't know. I shouldn't put like motivations on make guesses about his motivations, but that's what it looked like.
I was sent a clip and I'm just pulling it up. Hold on. Shut up, John Richards. Whoops.
Oops.
I immediately closed it because I'm stupid. I pressed the wrong button. I'm sorry. There we go. It's been added. Okay, so we'll look at that in a little bit. But the thing is like, you responded to this by saying, here's where you said you would have loved to do it for free. If you're such a great writer and a publisher, wouldn't more people have read the publication? Or are you telling me you didn't know how to promote your own work? You who wrote 4 books and a website. So here we get to a different part of the thread. This is the same, because there were 2 major threads on this, but this is the same one. Where he said it was your board that set up the... He's trying to say that the reason he hired himself was because John set up a position of having an editor.
What?
Yeah.
What's the connection? I don't understand. Like, okay, they had
if John didn't set up the position, Richards wouldn't have just been able to steal it to pay himself for less quality of work.
And also just because you deem that position not worthy of getting paid, or in particular not a particular person not getting paid, does not mean that the previous board didn't value that position.
Right.
They must have their reasons for setting up that value.
Right. And you can disagree with them all you want. That doesn't mean that what you did was appropriate. Right? You don't get to appropriate somebody's work and position and money because you're a racist piece of shit. I'm pretty sure that's illegal in most countries. I shouldn't say most countries. I said, I'm pretty sure that's illegal in most first world countries. So like the UK. I'm pretty sure there's labor boards in the UK that would have a problem with a director firing somebody when they didn't breach their contract and then taking that money and that job for yourself and hiring yourself.
Oh boy, that's a big conflict of interest. Let's just start there.
I feel like I remember something about like Kyle Curtis paying himself for his work.
Yeah. Oh, fucking Lord. Don't remind me about that.
So what you had linked here was like, it's true the job was not advertised.
I think so. If you expand, there are more tweets there. If you just click on my tweet, there should be more. Because I think so someone asked a question about how was he chosen, and to that I think so I repeated that question back to him. If you click on if you go down, sorry. Yeah, so there should be replies here. So further reply. Oh, okay, so that's all.
I had nothing to do with firing the previous editor. That's what he said.
Yeah.
It's true that the job was not advertised. Maybe that's because I was available and suitable for the post since I had written 4 books and a website. You're asking the wrong person. You're on the board. You're the director.
You are responsible. You are answerable. You are the face of the organization, or were the face at that time.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I leapt at the opportunity and loved doing it for free. Ask John why he instigated payment.
Instigated payment?
He's talking about the original editor. He's just
what the fuck
all over the place.
Yeah.
So he saw somebody doing work. He wasn't satisfied with their work. Whether they did good work or not is subjective, I guess. Although Maanyaa is going to objectively show us why Richard was worse. And there was no due process. The job was not advertised, and he awarded the job to himself to pay himself when he was saying that we needed to save money. So he just paid himself anyway. So surprise, surprise, we've got UK guy stealing shit from Indian people. Okay.
Oh, that has never happened before, has it?
Because he thinks he's better than they are.
Yeah. And we know how better they were because they stopped doing it altogether later.
Where do you get this lie about never kept records from? If there was no records, how do you know the editor's salary? This is such nonsense. You told us what the editor's salary was. We're basing it off of your words. We're not basing it off of anything else.
£6,000 a year, which is a fortune in India. Bitch! I don't think so. I don't know. Does he have weak memory or something like that? Or does he think like he can just flippantly say something and like people just become temporarily deaf or something?
From the report written by your fellow director who was gratuitously threw you under the bus, our investigation found that this is from the document that we're covering on Sunday. Also, our investigation found that the full accounts for financial years 2017 to 2019 were not compiled at the end of each year. This is during John Richards' tenure. Yeah, sufficient work had been done to complete IRS returns and to present top-line figures for AGMs, but detailed line analysis had not been completed. We have not finished that work, and the accounts for these years have been successfully... Oh, sorry. We have now finished that work, and the accounts for these years have been successfully reconciled to bank statements, PayPal statements, and carried forward balances. For the years of 2017 to 2019, the supporting paperwork for some expenses was missing or incomplete. Consequently, it was necessary to infer the categories for these payments, for example, which project they were related to. From context, such as emails or minutes, however, we have established that the top-line data presented to members was correct. We'll talk about that on Sunday. It is unacceptable that accounts were not compiled in full at the end of each year, and that supporting paperwork was not retained for every transaction during this period.
Yeah, it's your own report that says that. Yeah, and I just kind of like swung at him.
I think he called you a plonker, but I don't know what a plonker is.
Yeah, I think so. It's a rude word in a way.
Written slang mildly derogatory for a fool, a penis, a man who sanctions sexual relations between his girlfriend and his male friends. Oh, it's a cuck.
Oh, he's calling me a cuck. Oh my
Called
fucking
you
lord.
a cuck.
Do I have a penis?
I think he's just.
Where are you?
I think he misgendered you.
I don't think he even remembers meeting me. I don't think he remembers that at all.
He then goes on to say he had no dealings with the previous editor. How is that possible? If you're the director, you're removing the guy, taking his position. How is it possible? How doing research enough to know whether or not he's doing his job and what those numbers are? How do you possibly have no dealings with the previous editor? And how did you justify going through analyzing and researching and firing the guy if you never even contacted him?
Yeah. And okay, even so you're saying that he was fired behind your back? If you like say like, oh yeah, the other directors fired him, so they fired him behind your back, and you didn't ask for an explanation?
No, because he's racist.
Oh yeah, they told you that he didn't do his job, and you accepted it?
I was offered it by who? He's so flippant about his own. He's trying to just distance himself from any responsibility at all for even just the fact that you took it alone, however it came about. Yeah. The fact that you took it alone is problematic enough, let alone that you also did not have proper books at that time. This is just gets worse and more sketchy as it goes. So how much did you, was it, because he just implied that it wasn't 6K. Like, where are you getting these numbers from if we weren't keeping proper numbers?
Yeah.
Well, we know you weren't keeping proper numbers. Maybe it's more than what you said. How do we know how much money you skimmed off the job you took?
How much, when you were offered the position, how much did you ask for per year?
Mm-hmm.
We don't know. We could have known, but... And Intrigued Feline from the live chat brings up an interesting point. They say, and wasn't he claiming money left faster than what came in? Wouldn't it be prudent to do the accounting ASAP if that occurs? Yeah.
Yep.
Good point.
Simples, you destroyed a publication and made a paid position. How many editorials have been published this year or even last? Let's how working for free. Let's see. Yeah, let's see how working for free is going for you. Irrelevant. Oh, so for him, it's not relevant for how well the publication was doing, but for this guy, it was.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And he's playing the semantics again. I left almost 2 years ago. Think straight. Don't just make wild comments. Makes you look foolish.
You have to explain how it's irrelevant. You have to address the point, dude.
Yeah. Just like talking down to me is not actually making you look good. It makes you look, what can I say? Racist.
Racist?
Unreasonable.
It doesn't make him just look racist. He just is racist.
Yeah.
He's just racist. Sorry, don't mind me. I'm just scrolling to Maanyaa's tweet about this. Because there were a couple. Oh, this book.
Ooh, book. I think so. What are you looking for exactly?
I'm looking. Well, there's this one, but we'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll talk about that too. Yeah.
Because you started a whole nother thread about this. Here we go.
Yeah, this was I think so.
So we've got this one here. We're gonna go a little bit in order. Here we go. John does not want to provide any evidence, and so he sits here and says, guess I have in response to, let's see, scroll up real quick to see where we're at, because this thread is all over the goddamn place. So under the reference to how much people make in India, what's the average salary for a British person who joins a board and immediately uses his position to take a job off an Indian person and reward the money to himself?
Oof.
Doesn't he know that if an Englishman steals something from India, he's obligated to put it in a British museum? John doesn't comprehend the concept of equal pay for equal work. Indian guy wasn't hired because he was cheap. He gave an interview to an open job application and got selected after due process. The salary was advertised openly. This wasn't an economic decision, but a skill set one. And that's a really good fucking point, because there's no way John would have gotten the job if he didn't just give it to himself. On a fair and equal playing field, he would not have gotten that position.
Yeah, nah.
Based on the screenshots just provided, it appears that John Richards is an appalling liar who unethically awarded a contract to himself and then dishonestly tried to disassociate himself from what he did in an attempt to cover up his financial misconduct. Oof. Then you said, you mean John's predecessor followed a detailed and fair process to hire someone for a position, and John Richards was just served that position on a golden plate by his peers, other directors, without assessing his abilities nor advertising the position to give others a chance? I'm shocked.
I'm like, yeah, I'm so shocked. Oh my god, look at my face.
No, I mean that the previous board made an unwise decision to spend money on a position that wasn't worth the expenditure. Which you then took the money for and did a shit job. So what do you can't make this argument when you took the position and the money to do the same thing.
And you still haven't justified why that position wasn't worth the expenditure. You haven't justified it in any way.
No, the reason he justified it was because the guy was Indian and 6K pounds is a fortune in India. But then he took the money.
Yeah.
So
and we don't
the
even
expenditure
know if it's 6,000. It could be more than that.
But the 6,000 but the expenditure was the same.
Mm-hmm.
So it was literally a judgment about the person this is too much to pay somebody in India, so I'm gonna take the money. That's what this was.
Yeah.
There was no golden plate. The situation was one of dire emergency. Have you taken spinning lessons from John? Belittling me won't change the facts. That's not what I said. I said spending funds on a magazine that few read was a stupid waste of money. That's nothing to do with the level of pay for the job. That's not what he said.
Nope. I don't think so. He reads before he hits tweet. I don't think so.
No. What John said was that 6K pounds per year, not like a month, not like per piece of article put forward, right? 6K pounds a year is a fortune in India. Therefore, it was a bad financial decision to pay that person that much. Then proceeded to take the job and pay himself the same amount of money for the same work of arguably less quality or more.
Yeah, we don't know how much he demanded when he was offered the position.
We have no idea because everything was done under the table. Everything was done behind closed doors. Yeah. A non-profit organization at the time did this. Didn't take notes. Doesn't have proper financial records. We actually have absolutely zero idea besides John Richards' own word that he made 6K. We don't know how much the money actually was or actually is because there are no books to back it up. Even if the rest of the directors all agree that that was the amount of money, we actually have no idea. So these people are running around saying they're helping atheists in other countries, and then they're taking the money and putting it in their own fucking pocket, claiming that that's too much money to pay somebody in India for the same job, so I'm going to pay myself.
Yeah, because if it was about the readers, you would have brought about the readers. You didn't bring it up in that video. You didn't say anything about readers. You started talking about readers when people started holding you responsible for your fucking words. That's when you tried to shift the goalpost and said, oh, it's about the number of readers the magazine got. Bitch, don't try and play with us. We know what you're doing.
And here we understand where John Richards, the racist, is absolutely, completely in the wrong about his criticism in the first place. You have revealed what you think. Here we go. Personally, this is John Hamill, who we like. You know, the Irish, the very violent Irish person who doesn't really know how to do discourse because, you know, he's been brought up to be violent for unknown. Who knows? Who even knows anything about history? I don't know. Personally,
yeah, we don't know anything about history. We need to learn it from the colonists. Their version.
Personally, I think that spending money to bring your message to and offer support to people very often with no computers or internet connection is not a stupid waste of money, unless of course you view the entire purpose of the organization in a venal and mercenary manner. Okay. Sorry, venal. Not I put an R in there. So okay.
Mm-hmm.
Here you now understand that the point of the magazine, because John was on the board when this was put forward. John was on the board when this was put forward. So we know that when this was, and we know that from what John Hamill's saying, and we know that from what John Richards is saying. So everybody agrees that this was put forward on the board, and John Hamill is explaining that the reason the magazine existed, the intention behind it, had nothing to do with internet clicks, which is the measurement that John Richards used to judge the value of the magazine. So he was using an entirely different value than the point that the magazine existed for. This is like looking at a Wendy's beside a high school and judging them based off of their weekend sales, when all of their money is made at lunchtime during the weekday because all the teenagers go and spend their lunch money there. That's that kind of fucking stupid. This is such a level. This displays such a level of ignorance. This guy was a director of a board for AAI, and he doesn't even know how to look at the notes from his predecessors to properly judge or assess a situation. You know what he saw? Hey, we're sending a lot of money to this Indian guy. He clearly doesn't need that much money. I could totally, definitely do this job. And look at the numbers. There's only 30 clicks on our website for this thing. I'm just going to give myself that money. This is too much of an expenditure. We can't spend that money on somebody besides me. So he responds with, because he's a fucking idiot. You've revealed that you think it was printed. Nope, it was only ever viewable online. Printing would have taken the ridiculous waste of money to another order of magnitude. Wrong again. Really, you have no foundation for your ignorant criticisms. Give it up.
Did you just say what he said?
Yeah.
That printing would have been taken the ridiculous waste of money to another order of magnitude. So he's saying that printing physical copies for people who don't have computer or internet access is wasting money on another magnitude.
Yeah, fuck those people. Fuck those people in other countries that don't regularly have internet access.
John, seriously, man. I don't know whether he was sitting there typing in panic, maybe. I don't know, but this is so like bizarre. John Hamill gave a very good point. Like, the magazine should be for everyone. Like, irrespective of how they are connected to each other, internet or on the ground, doesn't matter. And he says that is not worth it. What is worth it according to you, John? Number of clicks on the website? Is that what it is? Is that what you're reduced to? Or or what your new organization is also reduced to?
I got sent a clip from Barry of the disclosure document, and it says, nor did any directors benefit from AAI resources. AAI directors are not paid for their work, with the exception of John Richards, who edited Secular Worlds for several editions and was paid per edition. That implies that he was paid $6,000 per edition.
Not per year.
Right.
So, $6,000 per quarter.
The tradition of paying Secular World editors began many years earlier, and John accepted a lower payment than previous editors. I'm gonna need a
I can't see it on the
citation
screen.
on that one. Oh no, I didn't put it on the screen. I was just reading it because
Okay,
like
yeah,
you'll see more of that. Go to Free Thought Profit. We'll look at more at it in detail on Sunday. That's just a snippet for you guys.
awesome. Yeah.
So John responds. John Hamill, the one who has issues with anger and discourse because he's Irish, according to John Richards, who is definitely not throwing a fucking absolute tantrum right now and contradicting himself left, right, and fucking center. John Hamill here with his horrid, violent outburst. You criticize the decisions of the previous board who hired an editor in India. The previous board who hired an editor in India funded the printing of a physical magazine. Do try to keep up.
God.
So he's saying there was
And
no
he still
physical
doesn't get it.
copy. And he's saying there was a physical copy. I did it for free.
I think so. What he said, yeah. What I think so. What John is trying to say, like, oh, if there were physical copies being printed, it's a waste of money. And then John Hamill repeats the point for him.
Yep.
That yes, we were paying him to print physical copies. So we don't know how much was going towards his inventory cost, like finding a printing store or material and and all that.
There is a whole nother level. There's a whole nother level of John Richards not understanding how that money was being used with the person that was hired. Maybe because he never had discourse with the editor. Maybe it's because he just assumed they were just throwing $6,000 at this guy for like a shitty online article that he thought he could do himself.
I was just wondering what the conversation was between John Richards and the previous editor when he said, "Oh yeah, I'm here to take over things from you."
Apparently
like,
there wasn't. Apparently he never spoke to him. There was never any discourse.
You take on a role and you never speak with your predecessor? Really? Sorry.
That's obviously the case because he's talking to John Hamill here without having criticisms of the previous board without understanding a single goddamn thing they were doing. Meanwhile,
this guy has published 4 books.
Meanwhile, they are advertising to atheists online as a secular organization to help protect people from other countries.
Yeah, in other. Yeah. Okay, yeah.
So, at what point does this count? At what point does this count as a scam? By the way, like, are we at scam level yet? I'm gonna ask chat. Chat, you tell me.
Yeah.
Scam? Question mark. Yes, no. You tell me. You guys tell me. Bragging about your
profligate. Profligate, that means for profit.
Expenditure is a shot in the foot. No, he's telling you, fucking moron. He's telling you how the money was used and what you're wrong about with how the money was used. You're saying that it would have been crazy expensive to include printing, but the printing was included in the original cost. And so he's saying the printing was included in the original cost. And he's like, you're bragging about your wasted money. But they did more than what you're criticizing them for doing.
Dude, do you English? Do you English?
That's what I have. That would be an order of magnitude more ridiculous for the amount of money spent to publish. So he doesn't know how much publishing even costs in India. He doesn't know that they were already publishing a physical copy for the amount that they were given, but still criticizing that they were giving this guy money in the first place was a waste of money. Even though even though John Hamill just explained to him that they were doing magnitudes more, using John Richards' words, of like product.
Yeah.
For the cost that they were getting it for.
Yeah. God.
The job of AAI should not be to make and accumulate profit. It should be to spend money on the mission of the Alliance. It's not about making money. You're a charity. You're supposed to be a non-profit, bro.
When did you become for-profit? When did you become for-profit, dude? When you violated the bylaws and sneaked yourself in on the board, then?
Paying and distributing is expensive. Do you know that stationery products pay to be exhibited on shelves at airport shops, for instance? No wonder your board got into such a mess. They were already paying for that in the original amount of money. And John Richards is just a fucking idiot.
You don't get it. You don't get it. Fuck. What was the cover price of your version? How many are remaindered, unsold in boxes somewhere? Who the fuck's care? Who the fuck's care? You didn't pay the predecessor for it, so
you can print something and throw it around without paying to have it displayed. Like, does he not understand that? You can print out like a newsletter, and you can find places that will take your newsletter. Right? The churches do this all the time. They'll print out like flyers and they'll give them to places, or they'll be like, "Hey, can we put this here?" And they'll be like, "Yeah, sure, we don't give a shit." So this is an absolute non-fucking point. It's not applicable at all.
It was what John doesn't understand is that it was a magazine for which the editing, publishing, and printing was being paid around £6,000 per year. Or per quarter, I don't know which one it is. And the magazine is supposed to be free for the end people. You asshole.
I personally paid for
to be sold.
He says, I personally paid for one edition to be printed and mailed out at my own expense. Oh, good for you. We got one response. Imagine like paying into the organization that you're so uppity about that you think is important.
Yeah.
We got one response, but it was from Noam Chomsky. I still have his letter. So what? What do you want? You want people to be sending you letters of gratitude? How, if you're just distributing something like this in a country that is predominantly religious, depending on where you go in India, they're not going to be able to send you fucking letters back, you fucking idiot. Do you not care about the safety of the people? No, of course you don't. No, what am I even talking about? No, he doesn't give a shit.
Doesn't matter. No. The clicks on the website matter.
The context here, like the blatant negligence and disregard for the safety of other people in general, and like the complete not just
how many people, when they got that in their email, was just like, fuck, I'm fucked, and had to actually burn the copy of that because they didn't know what to do with it, or else they will be dead. Did you take that into consideration, dude?
I like how you were just like, you've got got invoices or receipts for that. I mean, he says he's got the letter, as if he's gonna like, okay, well, give us the letter then. What does it say?
Yeah.
People don't owe you articles, John. You have to cultivate a relationship of mutual respect first, and then maybe. Yeah, it takes time before people are gonna.
I had to spread out the crayons here for him. Like you'll see. Like it was, my brain was hurting at that time.
Lol. No, I don't have receipts, Maanyaa. Of course you don't. We know you don't keep receipts. We know you were shit at keeping records. We know this. Why not? Because they contributed for free. And here you see you doesn't understand at all what he said, I paid for this, meaning when you paid for it, you would have gotten receipts for what you paid for. Then he's like, no, the recipients got it for free. Right. That's not the receipt anybody is asking for. Also, you can have receipts for something that you got for free, by the way. That's an option that you can take in some cases. So that's not nonsense anyway.
Did I say it wrong? Did I say it wrong?
No.
Like, didn't he understand my question? Was it wrong? Was the grammar wrong in it? Is there any spelling mistake that, he didn't understand?
No, he's just going to assume that because you're Indian, he can just interpret it in a way that he has to take no responsibility whatsoever for anything he's done literally ever.
Yeah, fair. That's what's happening here.
Because everything that John Richards did wrong is actually the fault of John Hamill, obviously. He didn't do anything wrong. Anything was either out of his. Okay, here's the thing. It was either out of his hands, or it was a problem that was started by that was unstoppable and was just the case by the previous board. So tell me, John Richards, what is it you say you did there?
Mm-hmm.
If you're a board director, but you didn't do anything and had no say of anything, and anything that did happen while you were there was actually the responsibility of the people before you, what did you do?
Yeah, how much responsibility did you take?
What was your job? What were you supposed to be doing?
Were you just there to sit and tell people, oh, 6,000 pounds per year is a fortune in India? Is that, or Irish people are, are violent by default nature? Is that what it was? Fucking baka.
The respect must have been there by your own specification. Nobody respects you. Not anymore, that's for sure. Honestly, you are providing me with much laughter. Who talks like this? Seriously, though, why are you so bitter and twisted? Maanyaa, why are you so bitter and twisted? What the fuck? What the fuck, Maanyaa?
Oh yeah, like way to belittle. I don't know. I get a sarcasm of misogyny there, bitter and twisted.
Like he would only
he has
call
not
you
used
that
for anyone else.
He would only call you that because you're a woman. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh. I don't get it. Why are you so bitter and twisted? For what? Asking for receipts? And talking about the way magazines function? Asking you for records and citations for your claim? Mr. Atheist organization person for people who want skeptical and need facts and evidence for their beliefs? Why are you shitting on somebody for asking for fucking citations? Bro.
Yeah, we asked for citations there. We are bitter and twisted. Yeah, definitely.
You must have brought material. It to him. Yeah. Right, you laid it out. You laid out the exact thing he didn't understand.
The crayons, everything.
Yes, I guess I have records in my personal bank account of my personal money. You did this through your job as director.
Mm-hmm.
And through your job as editor. That's not your yeah, you used your personal money to do it, but you did it in the capacity that you were a director and in the capacity that you were an editor, which means that shit needed to be tracked, which means that shit needed to be submitted, which is why you don't have this is the holes people are talking about when they say, well, we didn't have all the records, but we were able to figure out as best as we could from previous emails.
Where what belonged. Yeah. And he said, I think so, count of my personal money that I spent on printing and posting copies of my second edition of SW from years ago. Am I going to dig them out for you? No. And then I just went, well, yeah, then you're full of shit, buddy.
They should have already, here's the problem. They should have already been part of what should be publicly available records.
Yeah, exactly. Of
the organization, you dense motherfucker.
I gave you an opportunity to add something more in your account statements so you can justify the cost, and you didn't take it.
Maanyaa swings in with a Hitchens razor.
I have to thank Chesh for that, by the way.
Hey.
Yeah.
How do you spend your money? Please, chat, name this fallacy.
I can show you how I spend my money, but am I going to? Nope.
You haven't made a claim about how you've spent your money.
Exactly. I haven't publicly said about anything.
You know when you did show how you spent your money? When you showed your receipts for fucking GoFundMe shit. So it's almost like when you do make a claim about your money, you show it. Weird.
Yeah.
Weird. EMP for 5 says, clearly he started into all this to feel special. He ended up instead being a special case. Have 5 pounds on me. Well, that's a fortune in India. Maanyaa, moving to India. When you're heading there soon, aren't you? I'll meet you there. He just responds with LOL.
I just told him, yeah, my spending habits are not in question here.
How I spend my personal money is none of your business. When you use your personal money in the capacity that you are the editor, and the director to produce a product for a public non-profit organization, that is required to be added to what should be publicly available records for at least the members. At least the members.
Yeah. You could have redacted a lot of shit from it. You can redact it, right?
Yeah.
You can redact it. And you can still get it, like, what do you say, rotary certified, if I'm not wrong. Notarized. You can get it notarized and put them in records. The thing is that he doesn't realize, he told me he spent his personal money. I'm like, okay, where are the receipts? And he said, I'm not going to dig them out for you. I'm like, you're full of shit. You didn't spend your personal money. I don't believe you.
I have a question about, though, because if he did and that he counted it as a donation, it would have been a tax write-off for him anyway. For all we know, he lumped it. He lumped it into business expenses. Yeah, this is 2017, between 2017 and 2019.
Oh, business expenses. Ooh.
Even if he did spend it using his personal money, the fact that there's no proper record taken, the fact that we don't have any reference to this, it brings into question whether or not he actually either filed this properly one way or another, or if he tried to file it through the organization, which is a different problem. That the problem is that it's not transparent at minimum. Yeah. So we don't know how much money that is. So how much did he put the personal money out and then reimburse himself from the treasury of AAI?
We don't know.
We have no idea.
Did he get paid only £6,000 per year for the editor's job, or did he ask for more and got more than £6,000 per year?
Well, allegedly he got paid less, but we don't have that information, and they refused to provide it.
Yeah. So you're full of shit, buddy.
I did invite him to come and defend himself at a later date if he wants, but good fucking luck. Rustam, by the way, is the previous Indian
predecessor.
Editor. Yeah. And how he spends his money is a concern for you, because I'm in his part of the world. That's huge money. Says who? Your British ass lives there? You've got a master's degree in journalism too, like he does? Get off your high delusional horse, buddy. Right.
And then I lost my shit after that when I read that. I was like, oh my fucking god.
What?
They were paying a master's holder £6,000 per annum to do work for them. I was like, a master's, a level 9 degree holder, a person who knows how to research and how to write. They know their shit, let's just say.
And 17,
even if they haven't published 4 books.
17 being the average means that this master's holder would be charging more than that.
More than that, yeah.
Okay, so let's get out of this level of thread here.
Yeah, I kind of retweeted it.
Yeah, you retweeted this whole thing, and he swings in here, does he not?
Yeah. Here we go.
Annual general meeting. Yeah, what I was AGM, I was annual general meeting makes no sense. Yeah, she didn't know your fucking shorthand.
Yeah.
LOL, I don't lead and have never led AAI. This is an attempt to derail the discussion to a world inequality one.
Yeah. Wasn't it? Wasn't it in the first place?
I don't know.
You said £6,000 is a fortune. You set that bar. You set those levels. You created that inequality, and now you're whining about it. Bitch.
As if that serious problem could be solved by one company employing one Indian.
Oh my fucking lord.
Okay, and with that, I'm gonna go to the bathroom.
Go.
I need to walk away. Go, you go, Maanyaa. I can't. I can't.
She's like, I'm done. So he created that inequality, used that to fire someone, and now he's whining about it. And when he's held accountable to his words, he's like, oh, why are you singling me out? Oh, it's not my fault. It's the predecessor's fault. It's their fault. It's a finger pointing. And then I said, no, it was a discussion about your actions and inactions regarding this situation as a whole, and how arrogant and ignorant you are of your conduct here, and you refuse to learn when people are giving you feedback. Exactly. Oh, you want to know my spending habits? I'll let you know. In Discord, not here. Yeah, like, you were ignorant, you were arrogant, and people, like me and John Hamill, tried to explain to you, you are incorrect and your assumptions were wrong. And we gave you proof. And instead of accepting that proof and modifying your opinion and accepting that you were wrong, you just doubled down on it. As if that serious problem could be solved by one company employing one Indian. What do you mean by one Indian? Why is it one Indian? Why is this nationality matters to you so much? Is it because you mentioned it in the first place? You created it? Fucking baka.
I cannot get over, like, how does he think inequality gets solved? Like, how does he think you help fix and alleviate these problems around the world? It is by one company paying one Indian a fair amount, which you weren't doing.
Yeah.
But if you were,
kind of brings out your
it opens up opportunities and opens up. Okay, let's pretend that his worldview is even remotely close for a minute. Let's engage him in his fucking fantasy and say that India is a first world country. It's made of dirt, and $6,000 a year in pounds is the equivalent of like $100,000. Right? Let's pretend that's the case. So, what do you think happens to an economy when somebody from another country comes in and pays somebody a large amount of money, because that's the amount that they would be making in the first country?
They spend it. It goes into the economy.
It goes into that other country's economy. And what happens then? It stimulates that economy. And people say, hey, yo, where did you get this amount of money from? What the fuck? Oh, I'm working for this guy over in here, and they pay me this much. Holy shit, I should go get a job of doing that kind of thing. I've got the kind of qualifications. And now all of a sudden, one guy becomes two guys, becomes three guys, becomes five guys, into multiple. And it's not like one company. It's one company initiating. What happens? Yeah. What happens to Canadian economics if Amazon decides to pay their workers a living wage in America? A lot. A lot of shit. Yeah. A lot of shit happens.
I'm just thinking of everything.
That's so much shit that happens because we're so closely related, because Amazon exists here too, because all of a sudden their economy being stimulated with that much money will affect our economy. And the American dollar is worth more than the Canadian dollar. It's been that way for quite some time. There's once in a while where it's gotten close, but the point is,
you know what?
Like, one company paying one guy an exorbitant amount of money for this degree of work or whatever is going to make a financial difference in that country.
You don't want to do that? You don't want to do that, John?
No, fuck Indians, apparently.
If you go a little up on the thread, I think so he uses the same reasoning that you have been like you just explained, that oh yeah, there it is in the screenshot. Why do you think that telephone helplines and website chat helpers are located in Bangalore?
You think he can find it on a map?
I don't think he can find India on the map. Forget Bangalore. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Those are the practices for which companies are like criticized for, because they outsource those jobs and pay those workers shit while, increasing their profit margins. You want to be like them?
Yeah. Capitalist pig.
Oh my goodness.
He did just explain it. He said that he wants a charitable organization to take advantage of people in other countries.
Third world countries. Yeah.
A charitable organization that is supposed to be helping people in other countries, by the way.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
When did it become about profit and like saving money? You have the money, spend it, dude. Get good stuff for your for people who are associated with you.
I called him a potato. I'm not responsible for your imagination because you said you imagine him he's throwing a tantrum.
Yeah,
it's like, yeah, he is throwing a tantrum.
Yeah, and I gave him feedback here, right? And he doubled down on it.
Yeah. All right, let's take a look at his actual writing. I'm gonna play this, and then we'll go into his actual writing and take a look at like whether or not he did a good job.
John Richards is a piece of shit, and John Richards has no balls.
I agree with him. You agree?
Yep.
This is from Barry's channel, by the way.
Oh, did you clip it? Oh my god, that's fantastic.
Godless Scummer clipped it, sent it to me while Barry's in the live chat.
Oh my goodness, that's people coming together and working for each other.
John Richards is a piece of shit, and John Richards has no balls.
I think I agree with that. All right. So let's take a look. What the magazine looked like when the Indian guy, because like we should call him by his name, but we're not going to right now because I'm making a point that as far as Richards views this person, he's just some Indian guy.
Let's go.
So this is sorry, go ahead.
The very first edition that came out, and we are going to have a look at the editor's note in it.
Yeah.
That's written by the person John just threw under the bus in that thread.
Yeah, the guy who wasn't doing his job, right?
Yeah.
Right. Hold on, I'm opening it.
And I'm not going to make it personal, John. It's going to be, I'll try and keep it objective, and I know Chesh will remind me if I go personal and something into personal. So, yeah. I'm going to be fair to you. Unlike you, who made assumptions.
There you go.
All right.
So you want to go down to the editor's note, right?
Yes, please. So this is editor's note.
Oh, shit. He's got a face now. He's not just some guy. Oh, no.
Some Indian guy sitting in Bangalore in a call center. Oh, no.
Oh, my God. Yeah, rust him.
Yeah. So, first of all, the text is small, but the total number of words on this article is 1,700. It's a 1,700 editor's note. And what he talks about is he introduces his topic, what he wants to talk about. He talks about how it has affected the scientific community or our philosophical community in India. And then he has talked about history of what has happened when there has been religious persecution. And then he explained that how currently what role media and technology and government resources were playing. And then he talked about that he did mention the events that were going around the world and how they affect, things that are happening in India. And then he writes something where he says, we cannot be saddened by it. He motivates his readers that we are not going to be, put down by this. We'll move forward. And then he talks about what, privileges and, how it is different in India. So, and in the end, he also admits that he's also part of the media. and then he expresses what role he wants the magazine to play in that sphere.
Right.
And then he asks for feedback and input in the end.
As you do. That's pretty standard in as editor's notes, as far as I know.
Yeah.
Particularly with a first issue.
Words. Yeah, this is first issue. So you should read it. It's very it grabs your attention. And it explains a lot of things, and you will not be confused by anything in it. That's the thing. And it's very mature.
Important, yeah.
Yeah. And I trust you won't know when the 1700 words finished.
Oh yeah, it won't feel like it's been that long, yeah. Now I want you guys to take a quick look at this guy on screen. You take a quick look at Rustum and you tell me if 6,000 pounds a year looks like an exorbitant amount of money.
For this guy.
He's just covered in bling, isn't he?
Yeah, the money.
This is John Richards.
It's John's first editor's note.
Look at the quality difference in the picture, guys. Look at the graphical trash. Oh, it's so bad. Okay, so you've got the in this edition, and then they're asterisks across, and they're straightforward, they're clear, and they're consistent. Right? You've got graphics, although simple. The only error I see is there's a white line cut off here and not one on this side. That's like the only like inconsistent part of this. There's a black outline around secular to make sure that it pops out and doesn't get lost inside the red outline. It's got the logo. It's got what it is, when it is. Looks good. The graphic is fine. Looks great. I understand what they're talking about. Right? I can look at this and understand.
Yeah. This tells me nothing. This picture of planet tells me nothing. What this issue will be about.
So, spring of 2018. So it's not a quarter or anything anymore. They changed it to the vague notion.
$2.
Spring is different everywhere you go?
Yeah.
Dipshit?
Like, that's a very good observation. When Rustam was putting the titles and on the links, he went by the quarter of the year, the first quarter, the second quarter.
Because a months are consistent.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna be a hippie and I'm gonna go by spring.
No logo.
Autumn.
No logo. Right? It just no AAI logo. It's a new AAI world, but like who's AA? If you've never seen this before, what the fuck is AAI? If this is the first issue you picked up, where sold for $2 where sold. So now there's a price tag on it. Okay. But he already said they removed that he never produced any physical copies. So this is nonsense. It's a different it's a different color. This is a different color than this. This is a different color. These are different colors. We've got this changes. This is just bad. This is just bold, bad, ugly nonsense. A poorly cropped picture of a planet. Because you can you see the divots and lumps going on here?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh god.
In this issue, also different in color.
So no logo. Holy shit.
Editorial, president's letters, things that it's so fucking ugly. It's so fucking look how clear and concise this is. And it pops because it's got that border.
Yep. It's like a magazine. You know?
That's right, it looks like a magazine.
You use bright colors to attract your attention.
Yeah.
Like this is so poorly done.
And this doesn't even line up. It's not even lined up. This is lined up with this, but it's cut off up here because they didn't have enough space for the graphic. Because they put this is way too big. They could have just put the AAI and the title is There is no title. The title is Secular World. You don't need to title it like this.
Yeah. Oh,
And
no, he had to make the distinction that it's his work now.
Well, they said a positive voice for atheism, but that's not here.
No.
This is so bad. This is so ugly.
No.
And then it starts with the editorial, because John's big important. Instead of starting with,
So, word limit.
It starts with, what are we doing? What can we do? What is positive things that the Atheist Alliance International can do, and what you can do as an atheist to help people around the world? This starts with that.
Blah.
And then it's a letter from the president. And then
the letter of president be before.
Then it's a YouTube video. Things theists say.
God.
It's not even like, it's not even like
what is
bullet pointed. It's just, and then science corner. Look at how ugly this is. Here's a skull.
Oh, God. Oh my goodness, the skull is so ugly. Fuck.
This is still a different color. Yeah, they wrote down a URL. They're writing down, because again, this isn't getting printed anymore. This is now just online. So they've got links, which doesn't make any sense in a magazine. But look at how nice this looks. Look at the layout. Look at how, this looks like I'm reading a magazine. This looks like I could pick this up and understand what I'm looking at. And that's why this has a fucking QR code.
That's the use of technology, bitch.
oh my God. And look, here's the in this issue. Right? This up here is not this is an in this edition, and then there's a follow-up, what page it's on and who wrote it.
Index contents.
Then there's a letter from the president.
And the editor's note comes after that.
Then there's a letter from the editor.
Yep. And you see how in the background he has the logo for the Atheist Alliance?
Legal support fund and different things that you can get involved in and where to find it. Oh my God.
Yeah. And do you see that logo in the background?
Yep.
The logo that was so... When it was to come out in the print, that looks like that magazine was made for printing.
Right.
And it would have popped. It would have looked very beautiful. All right.
This guy started his editorial with the word okay, comma.
So this article is 400. This editorial is 450 words. Rustam's was 1700.
Constitutionally speaking, India is a religiously neutral democratic nation. Okay.
Comma. I got the photo. Yeah, I'm gonna just talk about myself first.
Why are all of the photos centered at the top of every page?
I have no fucking clue.
Because it's like that down here too. Well, this one's not, but this one,
that's different.
This one is.
Yeah.
It's not even centered around the skull. It's centered around the square. Because they didn't take out the white background.
Oh God. Do you see on the right, if you go back on the right, how the spacing is of the letters? The skull photo, just go beside the skull photo. Just on the right. Just look at the spacing. Fuck.
Sometimes in print, that is unavoidable, and you have to be very picky and choosy about what words you and how you place them to not fuck up the flow of what you're reading.
Are you saying this is what a trained or experienced editor would know? God.
There's not even oh God, what is okay? Atheist.
Okay. This is what it is.
Sorry,
trying to sound intellectual and then just using the most bizarre words.
What did he say?
You want this edition?
The editor fell down on the job.
Yeah, dude, come on.
Okay, I got the photo down from the attic where, like the picture of Dorian Gray, it has been failing to preserve my youthful appearance.
You think too highly of your looks, don't you?
What does Dorian unlike?
I don't know.
Okay, so now we all know that John Richards reads 50 Shades of Grey. Not information I needed or wanted in my life, but okay.
I think so. It's from the legend of like the Dorian Gray, where the portrait becomes old, but the guy stays young. So that's what he's referring to here. But it's like,
I like my headcanon
why are
better.
you talking about your appearance?
I like my headcanon
Why are you talking
better.
about your appearance? Yeah.
Like, I understand that he's trying to make a joke and he's trying to introduce himself. This is not a good way to do it.
It's you're an editor.
I'm your new editor.
Oh God, it's very nice to meet you. God.
Hi, my name is Kent Hovind.
Oh God. Oh God.
Listen, screw you guys and your big brain Oscar Wilde picture aging bullshit. 50 Shades of Grey.
All right. Oh God, kinky.
The first thing for me to do is to thank my predecessor, the guy he threw under the bus as some Indian guy that he didn't want to pay money to do good work for many years of sterling service in this role. Let me blow smoke up Rustam's ass real quick so nobody knows how shitty I treated him. Who he said on Twitter he never spoke to.
Yeah. How do you know that he was sterling service? So yeah, if it was sterling service, why the fuck did you say that your editor's note was better than his?
Or why did you say you didn't want to pay him because he wasn't doing a good job?
Yeah, he did a fantastic job.
Rustam is going to lead our very important project promoting the teaching of critical thinking in schools in central India. He has our best wishes, and there's an interview with him here.
I can't access that link for some reason.
There it is.
Oh, there it is.
So anyway, there's an interview with him, but that's fine. So you didn't just take this job from this guy, you moved into something else that you didn't pay him for?
Why?
What?
And how did you justify it to him? I don't know, seriously. How did you break the contract? I just want to know. Because I think he has been doing his work as per the contract.
Next, I want to explain what is meant by the headline of this edition, It's a New AAI World. This refers to the fact that we have been undergoing a year-long revitalization. We have new cost-effective office systems, new staff with new ideas, our own YouTube channel, and a stunning new website. Go here to see it. So you spent a bunch of money to rebuild your offices? I thought most of the staff and stuff worked from home.
Yeah. And the thing is that you want to make a distinction that there is a handover from the previous previous editor to the new editor. You know what you could have done? Talked about what Rustam actually focused on and what you want to focus on.
Co-wrote it?
Yeah, should have co-written it. But nah, because you burned the bridge with that guy, you can't call him back. Or maybe he might give you the courtesy and come back. But you burned the bridge with him. The best thing to do to introduce your handover is to co-write an editor's note or compare the works and describe what are your visions in the future.
This is like being an artist, working a lot on thumbnails and making shit visually look really good, and then have somebody like say that they're not going to pay you and can absolutely do the job better, and then their first one out is fucking Minecraft. It's a Minecraft screenshot of somebody's marriage anniversary as the thumbnail.
Shots fired.
You want to see what like a clear changeover looks like? This
Go
to
ahead.
this. Look at the font size.
It's tiny. And look at this. And it's properly spaced. There are no like words that are being ripped apart. Right? That's 1700 words. This is 450 words. And the first two paragraphs, that is 150 words, you have just wasted in bullshit.
And like it's like none of this looks even remotely close to how good this looks.
No.
Like
I have a copy of it. Maybe I can try and print it and see how it comes out as a magazine.
It's not even fucking close. It is not even fucking close in quality. To the point of this guy is like, oh no, I definitely could do this job and I did it for free. Yeah, we can tell you fucking did it for free. You get what you pay for, and you're fucking trash.
Yeah.
Holy shit. He didn't even do it for free. That's a misnomer. He says he did it for free and was willing to do it for free and then produced crap. And then it's just like, and then the newspaper didn't go anywhere. Oh, wow. I wonder why nobody was interested in buying this thing.
Yeah. He talked nothing about Rustam. Didn't like highlight any of his previous works. You could have done that. You know, he did this good, he did that good, and I'm very happy that I'm taking his work forward. No, just 2 lines. Hi Rustam, bye Rustam. Cheers.
All right. So just to cover what we've covered, John Richards, co-creator of Free Thought City that doesn't exist, video podcaster for shit videos that look like this pretty much the whole time. That are just StreamYard hangouts. Like, there's nothing special about their production. There's nothing special about their audio. There's nothing special about the topics they cover. They don't have, like, great success. With a link to a failed Kickstarter.
Yeah.
Who supposedly published 4 things.
4 books and a website.
I want to know if they were personally published, like published on Amazon, because big fucking deal. Literally anybody can do that.
Yeah, hold on. I can
destroyed secular magazine, who doesn't understand economics, is a racist, wants to take a charitable organization that is designed to help people in other countries and enforce capitalist, basically just taking advantage of those people for their work.
Yeah.
And then
because it's money.
Who was on the board of directors for Atheist Alliance International, who fired an Indian person, exploitation, thank you, capitalist exploitation, who fired an Indian guy because he was in India and they were paying him too much, which was supposedly $6,000 a year, which is a fortune in India, and decided he wanted to save money. And to save money, he paid himself that to do way less quality, like orders of magnitude less quality of a job, which then ultimately ended up destroying that magazine, which he measured the success of that magazine by a metric that it was never intended to reach in the first place.
Yeah. And he told me that he has published 4 books, but I don't see any link to those.
Nope, he doesn't link to that. He doesn't even mention his time in AAI. He's tried to distance himself from the situation. He lied repeatedly, which we showed you, and he admitted to in those tweets. Oh, I was paid. I wasn't paid. I did it for free. Oh, wait, I was paid. Oh, wait, this. Oh, wait, that.
Mm-hmm.
He's admitted to way more in that thread. If you go through and you take your time, we didn't even cover all of it. If you go through and take your time reading through that shit, it is a fucking goddamn nightmare, and we only highlighted this stuff. So chat, 1 in the chat if you agree with John Richards here, and 2 in the chat if you disagree.
John Richards is a piece of shit, and John Richards has no balls. John Richards is a piece of shit, and John Richards has no balls.
I'm also looking at the Atheist Alliance's website, where there's a section called Bookfest, and I don't see his books being promoted there.
So great. He's supposedly written something somewhere 4 separate times, allegedly, according to him.
Yeah, I can't find. Let me just see if I can find something.
Well, you think
I'm trying. I'm really trying.
And again, this man did not cite a single one of his sources. Not one in that entire Twitter thread. Not a single source.
Never justified.
Never explained anything. Did nothing but dance around and try to blame other people. Doesn't know what a director does or is, what their job is. Doesn't know what a publication does or like what a publisher versus an editor versus advertisers do. This man is a fucking idiot. And it's no wonder he was co-opted in and was just given this editorial job, because on a fair playing field, he never would have gotten elected and he never would have gotten the job because he's incompetent and unqualified.
I will show you in his I was fair. I was fair to him because he whined in the Twitter thread, "Oh, that's my first edition. It had to go out quickly, blah, blah, blah. So it's like that." I went to his second edition. And I had a look at that. And I have a rant for that.
Oh, go.
So that edition was specially focused on Nigeria. Right? And
I'm just getting to it. Go ahead.
Yeah. So it's about Nigeria. It's about, he wants to describe things in Nigeria and what AAI is doing. The first thing he starts from was, Nigeria does have problems and many of them are faith-based. And then he cites some poll saying that religion is very important in their lives. You're going to introduce a country to
graphics a little bit better.
The world. Yeah, I wonder where you got it from. You're introducing a country to your readers, and this is what you first come up with. You couldn't have talked about like their scientists, their famous philosophers, you know, what they have given to the world as trade, you know, nothing.
No, he's got to shit on them to preach to the choir that already agrees with him because they don't know anything about Nigeria. Are we really going to trust John Richards, the racist who thinks that, you know, $6,000 is just a fortune? 6,000 pounds is a fortune in India, and who thinks that Irish people are just violent because they have been in fights for the last 100 years, neither of which is accurate. 100 years isn't even accurate.
Oh, yeah. God.
Yeah, we're going to trust this guy to tell us about Nigeria.
Yeah, right. Sitting in his home in UK. Yeah,
in his ivory tower while he's stealing people's money.
Yeah. And their jobs. Cool.
Yep.
So this editorial is even less in words. It's 403 words. So his first and second editorials combined don't even cross 850 words mark or 900 words mark. Whereas Rustam's first editorial alone is 1700 words. Right? Okay, let's talk about the quality. Let's not talk about the quantity. And the next paragraph he talks about is when the British handed over the colony in 1960-61. Not that they achieved independence. No.
Oh my God, no.
In 1960-61.
No, he's not breached independence. He's what? Okay, please tell me this is going to go where I think it is. When the British handed over the colony in 1960 to 61, a secular constitution was drawn up. Section 10 quite clearly states, quote, the government of the federation or a state shall not adopt any religion as state religion. Sadly, this has been disregarded. The northeast part of Nigeria is predominantly Muslim and home to a radical jihadist Islamic group. Okay, is he implying now? Tell me if I'm wrong here, Maanyaa. Chat, you let me know if I'm out of line here. Is he implying that the British signed off on these rules and they decided to ignore them, and implying that British rule of Nigeria was better?
Because it's a comma. So that's what my thing is. You're talking about a country's constitution and you don't even tell us who drafted it. Who drafted the constitution at that time? What were their ideals? How was it declared official or introduced to the world? What date it was? Context, bitch.
You're gonna say Nigeria
went to the religion section.
This is such a bad this is just a bad
disservice.
It's a bad opening sentence. Nigeria does have problems, and many of them are faith-based. Period. You're giving nobody any context about where Nigeria is, how Nigeria was formed, what happened in Nigeria's history that led them to the one thing or another politically, geopolitically, whether that be like societally, if they're in a location where it makes sense for them to be predominantly Muslim initially to begin with. Like, we're getting no information.
What's the history? How did it become predominantly Muslim? Like, talk about something like that and transition into present. You started with history, you left it halfway through, and then you switched to present, 2014.
Yeah.
You have done such a disservice to this country. I'm just telling you. This is bullshit.
This is racist.
I have no fucking idea who drafted it.
This is when racist. It was made official. UK whitewashing.
Fuck. Oh, you know what Rustam wrote in his first article? Constitutionally speaking, India is a religiously neutral democratic nation, and the largest one on the planet at that. Just imagine how that sounds to Nigeria does have problems, and many of them are faith-based. That guy presented his country in such a positive light. And John couldn't do a service to this country by talking about something that was positive first. Straight up to the problems.
This guy would not pass a grade 8 writing class. This would be this is not even like a well-written report. Didn't this guy used to teach science?
What, to third graders?
I think we may have to review the people who, like, alumni of his. What grade did you teach, bro?
Yeah.
What part of science?
Yeah, seriously, I want to know. Evolution? Creationism? So, Intrigue Feline from the live chat says, so he doesn't even mention about the history, like they were like plethora of Nigerian princes, how they came together, what happened. Nothing. British handed over the colony. And then starts with Boko Haram, and then starts with northeastern part of Nigeria, predominantly Muslim. Doesn't explain how it became predominantly, Muslim. Straight up into Boko Haram and low-hanging fruit. You can find this anywhere. And
well, it's implying that people in Nigeria are terrorists.
Yeah.
Because they live in Nigeria. Because they're Muslims, predominantly.
Yeah.
Because the British handed over their country. If the British didn't hand them over their country, they wouldn't be jihadist, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why it's racist. And this is why John Richards is a racist. Who was co-opted in to an Atheist Alliance international group with UN status. And atheists just didn't notice and didn't care.
Yeah.
This is a group that is currently. Let me show you their what is it? Not the affiliates. Where's their advisory council. These are the people that are on their advisory council. Our advisory council is a volunteer group that exists to give support and advice to AAI's board of directors. This would include John Richards at the time. The advisory council is chaired currently by Alice Carr. The board extends a huge thank you to council members for giving their valuable time and for their advice. The council members are shown in no particular order. So it's run by somebody that they're not showing a picture of.
Okay, maybe they want to remain anonymous. That's for their safety, maybe.
Or the picture, yeah. Dr. Sadgad. Or Gadsad.
Gadsad.
Sadgad.
Arup Chatterjee.
Michael Shermer.
Ah.
Lawrence Krauss.
He's on the council. Is that what they're claiming?
He's on the advisory board.
He's on the advisory board. Is that what they're claiming?
Yeah, supporting and helping advise for this racist bullshit.
I fucking don't believe it. I don't believe it. I just think so they are like performative members. That's all I think. Just to give them a brand, a good branding. That's all.
I think they are giving these people too much credit.
Oh,
we know that we know that they have to be aware of this. They're advising the board.
Yeah.
And if you're advisory for a board and you're not paying attention to what that group is doing, how are you advising them in any capacity?
Yeah. And you can't even hold them responsible. Yeah.
Lawrence Krauss has already admitted that he has no input into any of their decisions and doesn't care. So he's skirting responsibility. Then get your name removed, dude.
Yeah. Everybody's jumping this ship by the sounds of it.
So Barry says some of the board members were contacted and resigned. Their names are still showing. You might want to make sure that your names aren't fucking still there. This is your responsibility. If they're still using your name and you don't want them to be using your name, that's on you. They're pounding off of your reputations to write this fucking
bullshit.
shit.
This is like when you give a kid in 7th grade an essay to write and he comes up with this.
And that's a good point. Like, how much advice is even accepted? It doesn't matter. Whether they accept their advice, whether they ask, like, it doesn't matter. They're ponying and putting this out and advertising this. If you haven't made any kind of statements about this or rescind, like, when you support something, you need to actively rescind that support when it does something like this. You can't just say, well, they didn't listen to me anyway and I want nothing to do with them. No. You rescind and you say why. That's important. And it's important to inform people because all people know if you haven't done that is that you support them.
When you have organizations and where they're like issues of fraud, etc., exposed in organizations, where does the investigators go? To your emails.
In this situation...
And what have you said about something?
In this situation, Keemstar has more credibility than Lawrence Krauss. Because Keemstar supported something about Katie Joy when she was getting sued. And then Keemstar went live and said, I'm going to have to rescind that support because I gave my support under this assumption and this thing. And I have to take that back. I'm going to have to take that back. Keemstar did more footwork and did better than fucking Lawrence Krauss and Michael Shermer in response to the Atheist Alliance International, a UN fucking organization.
And Smitty said from the live chat, like when Maanyaa rescinded support for the non-secular show and made a statement about it.
Right. When I brought up talking about Steve's GoFundMe for the lawsuit, I put it out there. So I needed to go and take responsibility for what I had said and update people and give them options for what they could or could not do based on whatever they decided. I'm not going to tell people what to do, but I am going to actively tell people when I've supported something and when it's got south. Right.
Yeah. So yeah, this is God. And then he's talking about Boko Haram and he's talking about Sharia law and how blah blah blah. And then after that, there's only, you see that bold line there? If only they knew there's no evidence for their God.
That is not how you deal with extremists.
But seriously, what does that have to do with anything that what Boko Haram has done? You haven't even talked about their ideology, or explained, or anything, or why they are popular, or how they became dominant. Nothing. If only they knew there's no evidence for their God. This is so childish.
Yep.
So childish. And then, on the positive side, yes, so many people have died, but there's a positive side to, now it's about them. It's about AI. We are supporting a group in Nigeria in their battle with a governor. He has announced blah, 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 blah. And
wait. On the positive side, we're supporting something against a Christian governor? That's not even the same group.
Yeah, hold on, because there's a context there. He has announced not only that he is a spiritual leader of his state, but that he has provided public finance for the construction of 8,500 blah, blah, blah. He's building a center of using public finances.
He's building a mega church. Okay, but what does this Christian governor and his misappropriation of funds, John, have to do with Boko Haram? On the positive side to this one group doing all this other shit, we're supporting this thing that's against this other person doing this other shit.
Not even talking about who Christian governor is,
who they are, how they came to be, why they exist in that portion of Nigeria. Nothing.
Yeah.
This is absolutely useless trash.
Yeah. And then going by the word of a website about state government's contribution to the project.
Yeah.
Citation needed. And then, laying ceremony, blah, blah, blah. So he's caught red-handed. ASN lawyers, that's Atheist Society in Nigeria, have recently issued a demand to the governor that he must cease this unconstitutional project. But that's not you helping. How are you helping them?
Mm-hmm.
Are you helping them financially? Are you helping them with expertise? Are you helping them with stationery, typing services, writing services, whatever? How are you helping? How are you helping them?
And how, in what way, if at all, are you going to show that that's where the money went when you have missing books?
Yeah. We don't know. They had a conference in Nigeria, apparently, but we don't know how much money they spent on it.
I have an emoji for this.
So they have a campaign. They're not even AI, by the sounds of it. They're not using their own money, AI. They have put up a campaign for them, and there you can click and donate.
Yeah, AI is just shouting them out.
Yeah. And then some more good news, first atheist Nigerian atheist convention was held in November.
It doesn't even link. Wait. Hold on. It says, please donate to this campaign by clicking here. Click here. Goes to other AAI article.
And where's the campaign? Is it on the right?
No.
Why are you saying that did you start this campaign? Why isn't it made clear in this article that you started this campaign and the funds? Okay, I need to know where the money went from this campaign, from all this campaign funds.
Hey, wait. All right, watch this. I go to Secular World Nigeria. Nigeria Secular World article written by John Richards tell me to donate to the campaign by clicking here. I click here. It takes me to Atheist Alliance International site. It doesn't link to anything about Nigeria. There is no links here whatsoever for any campaign. At the bottom of the page, it says donate to AAI.
What the fuck?
You lying piece of fucking shit.
Shit.
100% of people in this chat said that John Richards is a scammer, by the way. So you can clip that one and say that 100% of people.
Those are statistics for you.
100% of people, when asked, said they believe that John Richards is a scammer.
So you are asking for donations for your own organizations using a campaign or using a cause that another organization is heading.
Hey, Maanyaa.
You lie!
God, yes.
Also, C goes to another AAI thing by Bill Flavell. Next one goes to another thing by Bill Flavell. Decisions, Bill Flavell. None of this goes to linking anything spiritual leader in the state.
So they're talking about the case. So at the end, we assess the cost of hold on. Go there. Last paragraph. We assess the cost of this legal action is $8,000. AI has already offered $55,000, so we need to raise another $3,000. Please help us. We believe this is historically important. So you were helping them financially.
Yeah.
Why didn't you mention it here? And how do we know you gave them that money? I have no fucking clue.
We don't. You imply that if I donate here by clicking this link, I'm going to be sending it to them. And then it's actually just sending it to you. And I have no way of verifying that my money that I donated for this specific cause was actually sent out for this specific cause. Unfucking believable.
It's good that you're tracking it. That's fine. That's good. That's good. Why not link this to your article? Have they linked this whole thing? Is there?
It goes like this goes to Secular World. So this link here, please donate to this campaign by clicking here, goes to this page.
And okay.
And then at the bottom of that page, I can look at all the other information.
Also see.
The information is great. Right? Like, this information, I don't know if it's well written. I don't care to go through it to find out if it is or not. It doesn't say who the author is. It doesn't say who the author is for this one either, so I don't know who wrote this.
Bill Flavell, most probably.
I mean, could be, but this is sketchy and sleazy as fuck.
Yeah.
This is
we don't know if they donated 5,000. Nah. This is so ridiculous. They claim they're helping. You know what would have assured your donors that the money went where it was supposed to? Your fucking statement, which would have been public.
Right. And we assess the cost. Who's we? AAI?
Yeah.
Do you have a lawyer? Who is we? There's no reference to who. We don't even know who the author of this was.
Yeah, we assessed. So, coming to the end of his whole thing.
John Richards is a piece of shit, and John Richards has no balls.
You know, if I was when I sat down and thought, okay, I'm going to write about Nigeria, you know what I would have written about? I would have written about Boko Haram and, whatever that Christian crusader is going on. I could have written about or introduced to the status of women in that country.
Sure.
How laws affect women. Female genital mutilation it has reduced, and what measures were taken. Schools. What's the education system in there? How that is funded.
How about if you're going to talk about why there's a percentage of Muslims in the country and you're going to talk about their constitution, how about you actually just explain the political spectrum at all?
Yeah. At all, yeah. You could have talked about famous thinkers, philosophers from Nigeria to start at a positive note, or the scientists from Nigeria, and how they are treated in that country.
Hey, when we
you could have talked about the health system.
Oh, you could have talked about like literally anything. You could have talked about literally anything and not been a racist piece of shit.
And you went for the stupid shit.
Hey, you know what happened when we rescinded support of Steve? And we publicly stated that we rescinded support of Steve, and we found out that Steve still was like using our names as like mods and shit. We asked him to remove them. I mean, we went out of our way to make sure that our association was actually broken because that's the responsible fucking thing to do. Wow.
Exactly.
Fucking weird. Fucking bizarre. That.
Take responsibility for yourself, at least. There were so many things he could have talked about in this editorial and could have made it interesting, positive, and hopeful. And this is what he chose to write as an author of 4 books. I don't know, man. I don't believe you're an author of 4 books. Doesn't sound like it. And the last paragraph is just him about like bragging about, we had a conference. Oh, Vice President Bill Flavel delivered the keynote speech. Was he physically present there? Oh, okay. On whose cost did he travel to that country?
Wait, gave the keynote speech for sorry, you're talking about the this one?
Nigerian atheist.
Yeah, go ask the Free Thought Prophet about that one because they've talked about that and that no, he wasn't there.
So yeah, like, and you could have talked about what your future plans are.
They went and checked to see what things were held in Nigeria at that time frame, and we're like, how the fuck was this guy possibly here in any capacity?
He wasn't there.
It didn't match.
Yeah.
All right, let's start wrapping up.
Yeah, let's do it. Enough of the rant. Like, yeah, disappointing, John. And you asked me to do it. Except for your tweets, I have not been personal here, if I'm not wrong. I've just shown your thought process, buddy. That's all. And your writing process. It's like there's no flow of information in the second article. Nothing at all. And not even in the first article. Like, you had an opportunity to introduce yourself, literally, in the first ad. Okay, it was a hiccup. Fine. Second one, disappointing.
I'm gonna just go.
I don't count number of words, but when you say so little, I wonder, do you have anything to say about?
No.
I highly doubt that. Then, how much research did you do in that country before you started writing this shit? I could have written a better one. I can guarantee you. Chesh knows. She has my notes at the bottom of this thing. She knows what I wanted to talk about if I wanted to talk about this country. So yeah, I'm like health system, school system, education system, scientists, famous scientists, their contribution, how they are treated, how are artists treated in that country. You know, how like issues like female genital mutilation, they are coming at the down, or reduced or not reduced. Why they're not reduced? You could have researched that by Googling this shit. You know where I went? I went to fucking journals to verify my shit. God, I'm done with this guy. Seriously, he brags and there's nothing to show for it.
That's true. All right, let's get on out of here. I think my last word on it is that I think we've easily concluded that not only is John Richards incompetent as a writer and an editor and a producer and a director, but he is also arguably a thief and a scammer, and is absolutely, as we proved multiple times during this, is a fucking racist. See you guys next time.
That is established. That's fact. That is established.
God.
Okay,
bye.
All right, bye everyone.
Bye.
Have a good weekend.
Hello.
Welcome back to Don't Fekk Friday.
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 It's going to be fun.
John Richards is a piece of shit, and John Richards has no balls.
You could have ended